Oh, we're live. Okay. I just got a connection issue notice. Hey guys, welcome to another weekly Facebook Live. Today's topic is 10 habits for lasting fat loss. I know that hopping off the diet train for good and successfully maintaining your fat loss, maintaining your new physique, is pretty much the ultimate goal of every diet. So it's kind of ironic that most diets are not helpful at all for showing us how to do that. They tend to leave us woefully unprepared for life after the diet. There's no blueprint for success in normal life. There's no information on how to mold your new way of eating and living into sort of normal day-to-day life. So this is where I try to fill the gap for my clients, and also where I'm going to try to fill the gap for you in this live training today. Because really the only way to achieve long-term diet success, meaning you don't gain all that weight back a few short weeks later, is to change your day-to-day. And that is really where the secret lies. I know it's not sexy or popular to say that, but that is the truth of the matter. You've got to change your day to day. It comes down to building a new lifestyle, to creating habits that really lend themselves to staying fit and healthy and lean for the long haul. It doesn't come down to motivation. It doesn't come down to magic shakes or wraps or pills or whatever. It honest to goodness comes down to what you do every single day. I like to think of building these habits as sort of like brushing your teeth, right? This is a habit that we all do, hopefully. I fully admit when I was a child, I faked it. My cavities didn't lie though. Fortunately, as an adult, I have much better dental hygiene, but that is beside the point. The point I want to make is that brushing your teeth is not something that you really feel motivated to do every day, but it's something that you just do it, right? You don't really think about it that much. It's a habit. It's an automatic behavior. You probably do it before leaving for work in the morning, maybe after eating, maybe before you go to bed. I know we all have a little bit different habits surrounding it, but it's something that most of us do. And building your healthy lifestyle is very much like that. You have to sort of approach it as, you are changing some things in your day to day and you are taking motivation out of the equation. So we are building healthy habits to keep you lean for the long haul, to keep the fat loss that you just went through for your diet, during your diet, to hold on to that without having to just perpetually diet for your entire life, because that is not fun, not something that I imagine anybody wants to do forever. So that was a little bit of a lengthy intro there. Anyways, for those of you guys that are joining me for the first time, welcome. I'm Alicia, founder of Alicia Wagner Fitness, and I use a habit-based coaching method, of course, the topic of today's video, to help busy people, much like yourself, simplify healthy living, get movement that they love back into their life, feel good, look good, the whole gambit there. Lifestyle transformation, that is my jam. For those of my longtime supporters, thank you for tuning in for another video this week. Before we jump into the main meat of this video, I do want to say that I have a free content upgrade. I have linked it in the description of this video, so if you want to grab it before we really get in here, all you have to do is click the link, enter in your email and your name, and then it will be delivered to your inbox shortly. So go ahead and grab that before we get going. So first things first, before I talk to myself for 20 minutes, let me just give me an emoji to make sure that my audio is working and everyone can hear me loud and clear. Thumbs up or a heart. Just need to know. Okay. We got some thumbs up. All is well, the audio is going. So let's dive in. So here's how today's video is going to go. Let me give you a brief rundown. First, I'm going to list out the 10 habits for lasting fat loss. These are exactly the same habits that I have my private clients working through. And first I'm going to list them. After that, I'm going to dive into each one and give you a little bit of a synopsis on why it's important and why it matters to actually practice those habits. And finally, I'm going to take you through the process that I actually use with my clients on how to get them implementing these habits, right? To make them just as much of a part of their day as brushing their teeth. So my goal for you while we're going through this video is that you take something actionable away from it. You know, action is what creates change. So at the end of this video, I want you to have one habit in mind that you think you can work on today. And you should have an idea of how you are going to start practicing that this week. So that's my goal for you. I do recommend grabbing a pen and paper or something to take notes with if that is something that is helpful to you. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so habit number 1, 20 minutes of daily movement. Habit number 2, strength train at least twice a week. Habit number 3, eat 1 palm-sized serving of protein at each meal, preferably lean protein. Eat at least 5 fist-sized servings of fruits and vegetables daily. Eat mostly unprocessed whole food carbohydrates. Get at least 7 hours of sleep. Take a multivitamin and fish oil daily. Eat slowly. This means about 15 to 20 minutes per meal. Eat to satisfied, not stuffed. And 20 minutes of de-stressing daily. So that's the roundup of the 10 habits for lasting fat loss. Let's go ahead and start with number 1 and dive in a little bit more. So 20 minutes of daily movement. Why is this important? Well, namely because humans were made to move, right? We were not made to be sedentary creatures that sit in a cubicle or sit on the couch, sit in the chair, sit in the car all day long. People were made to move. That's how our bodies function best. And in our modern lifestyle, honest to goodness, we do not get enough movement. And so what I want you to think of and take away from this movement habit is that this doesn't have to mean working out. Some people just despise exercise or the term working out. It feels like a punishment. Movement should not feel like a punishment, right? Movement should feel good. You can almost think of it like play. It doesn't have to be a workout. If you want it to be a workout, it can, but this should really be something that's low intensity, gets your heart rate going, gets your blood flowing. And it's things like walking, gardening, walking your dog, playing fetch with your dog, playing with your kids, getting outside. You know, when I was a kid, we did a lot of playing outside. We played capture the flag, we played tag, hockey, all kinds of things. So go outside and play with your kids. You know, really anything that involves moving your body in a way that you enjoy and is essentially anything other than sitting in the chair. We do a lot of sitting in our days, and our bodies were simply just not made for that. So that's why it's important. In a sort of brief summary there, let's go ahead and move on to number 2. Why is strength training at least twice a week important? This one kind of ties in with number 1 because strength training is of course a form of movement, but beyond that, strength training is important because it promotes muscle development, strong bones, strong tissues, and then there's sort of that added side effect of like, it just kind of feels good to be strong. It's very empowering mentally. So I have all of my clients doing some form of strength training. This could be a simple home workout where they're using their own body weight. It doesn't have to mean lifting weights, but you should have some kind of resistance training happening in your week. Ideally, twice a week is what I like to shoot for as a minimum. Old or young, this one is still important no matter your age. All right, number 3. Eat 1 palm-sized serving of protein at each meal, preferably lean protein. And what I mean by this and why this one is important is because protein provides sort of the building blocks for our muscles and for our tissues. And so we need to provide our body with that raw material, and so that it can repair itself, so it can build that new muscle and and all those good things that we want. So protein provides that. You need to get it in your diet. We don't make it ourselves. And so the serving guidelines, right? 1 palm size. This means the width and thickness is how I like to describe it for my clients, of any food that is primarily protein dense. So these are things like meats. Most dairy products could be considered protein, like a yogurt. Greek yogurt in particular is pretty high in protein. Cottage cheese. If you follow mostly plant-based diet, then things like lentils could be a good option for you. Tofu, tons of options, right? But getting at least 1 palm-sized serving at each meal is what I recommend to make sure that you're covering your daily needs. All right, number 4, 5 fist size, here's a fist, servings of fruits and veggies daily. You know, most of us probably know that fruits and veggies are important, and you probably know why. They provide micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals, right? All of these super, super important things for your body to be functioning optimally. Sure, you can take a multivitamin, which is of course on my list, but you're going to get the best results by incorporating a multitude of fruits and vegetables and whole foods along with your multivitamin. Main reason being is that your fruits and veggies are also providing fiber. They have a nice satiety factor, so they take up a lot of space in your stomach without having a ton of calories. And so you can eat lots of them, get lots of good nutrients, and feel satisfied and full without overdoing it on your calories, which is, of course, is how we stay lean, right? We eat in energy balance. So that's habit number 4. Eat 5 fist size, right? Here's a fist. Servings of fruits and veggies daily. Quick note on the hand portions. The reason that I love to use hand portions for either transitioning off a diet or people that are just really not interested in counting calories is that your fist is totally portable, and it's perfectly sized to your body. So my fist size serving is a little bit smaller than, say, somebody that's 6'2" and has a giant fist, right? They need more food than me, they need more nutrients than me, and so if they go by their portion size and I go by my portion size, we get the perfect amount for our each unique body. All right, let's go ahead and move on to habit number 5, which is eat mostly unprocessed whole food carbohydrates. So many of my clients come to me and they don't have a full understanding of what this means. So I want to give you a really quick overview of what I mean by this. Carbohydrates provide a lot of our energy day to day. It's the number 1 fuel for our brains. So you might feel a little sluggish and lethargic if you are not getting enough carbohydrates in your life. The reason we want to go with unprocessed whole food carbohydrates is very similar to why we want to eat fruits and veggies, right? There are micronutrients, there are vitamins and minerals that help our bodies function. There's fiber, and you can eat more of them without overdoing it on the calories. So a lot of times what we think of when we think, oh, carbs, we think pasta and maybe bread. And I don't know, if you have a favorite carbohydrate, drop it in the comments. But mostly we think of these highly processed foods, which are fine to eat in moderation, but if you're eating those at every single meal and that's all you're getting, you are really not doing yourselves any favors. Things that are mostly unprocessed whole food carbohydrates would be things like sweet potatoes, things like quinoa, things like brown or wild rice, things like rolled oats, whole oats that haven't been processed into like the package of oatmeal. So So things like that are closer to what they were when they came out of the ground. That's the best way that I can really summarize this for this quick video. Again, you're getting lots of fiber when you eat these. You're getting those vitamins and minerals, and you can eat more of them. Pizza's Chris's favorite carb. Gotta love a good pizza night. Anyways, these unprocessed, mostly whole food carbohydrates are what should accompany the majority of your meals. I'm not saying I never eat pasta. I do. Not saying I never eat bread. I also eat bread. But I'm not basing all of my meals around those sorts of carbs. All right, let's go ahead and move on to habit number 6. Get at least 7 hours of sleep. Sleep is huge, and this is something that almost everyone I have worked with has struggled with. And the reason being is because we're all super busy. There are more things to do in our 24 hours than ever before, and we're more connected and on than ever before, right? I mean, how many of you sleep with your smartphone by your bed? It just goes off all the time. So sleep is important because it helps us regulate our hormones. And hormones, right? These things can change our hunger signals. They can make us want to eat more or less. Not to mention, sleep is also where your body is going through recovery. So if you did a hard workout, when you're sleeping, this is when your body is repairing itself. So sleep is huge, 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 huge. If I had to pick one habit, if somebody was only gonna do one of these ever, I would probably pick sleep. So sleep is huge, at least 7 hours. Most adults need about 7 to 9 hours. It's sort of that optimal range. Of course, some people might do better on more. Maybe you can get by on less, but I wouldn't count on that being optimal for you, right? See if you can shift your sleep habits to getting about 7 to 9 hours each night. Finally, we get into number 7, take a multivitamin and fish oil daily. The reason this habit is on here, the reason it's important is that our soil quality is going down, and the nutrient quality of some of our foods are also going down. So it's kind of important to cover our bases, right? Even if you were eating a diet of these mostly whole foods, fruits and vegetables, lean protein, all these things that I talked about, it is very, very possible that there is a gap in your nutrition. So taking a multivitamin, or if you're not interested in the multivitamin route, getting your specific blood levels tested to see if you're deficient in any vitamins or minerals, and supplementing with those is a really good way to cover your bases, so to speak. Most people can benefit by taking a multivitamin. Most people can benefit by taking fish oil daily. Fish oil is important because our modern diet promotes a lot of fat consumption of what's called omega-6s. And the way that humans were developed, right, what's optimal for us in our fats is actually to have a pretty balanced ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s. And that's a little bit too dense of a topic to get into for this specific video, but omega-3s are often found in fatty fish like salmon or tuna, things like that. And most of us are not eating those as a staple in our diet, so we're not getting enough omega-3s. A really easy way to sort of remedy that is to take fish oil, either just the oil itself or the capsules each day. If you're not about swallowing pills, cool. See if you can integrate fish into your diet, and that will also take care of it. Twice a week, 3 times a week, a couple times a week, adding a fatty fish like salmon or tuna will do relatively the same thing. But for some people, it's just a lot simpler to take the fish oil itself. Habit number 8, eat slowly. This one is so important because most of us are so rushed during our days that we just eat a meal, maybe in our car, maybe at our desk, and we eat it in like 4 minutes, right? I've timed myself doing this. This is a really that was a mouthful. A really difficult habit for me to break personally because I have always been a speed eater. But once I got my meal timing and how long it actually took to eat my meals, my digestion improved because digestion starts in your mouth. I actually found it easier to eat the right amount of food, just sort of intuitively, because I gave my body time to let me know that it was full. So those are sort of the main reasons why eating slowly is important, right? It gets your digestion going, and it makes it easier to sort of tune in and know when you should actually stop eating. So eat slowly. I recommend about 15 to 20 minutes per meal. Habit number 9, eat to satisfied, not stuffed. Of course, this one, ties right in with habit number 8, eat slowly. Key to maintaining a healthy weight over the long term is to maintain energy balance. And without getting too far down into the rabbit hole, this basically means you need to eat the same amount of calories that you expend in activity each day. And our bodies are actually pretty good at letting us know when we're eating the right amount of food, provided that we are eating foods that are mostly whole foods and not processed, right? So foods that are high in fat and sugar, like think potato chips. Those sort of trick our brains and our bodies into thinking we need more. If we're eating mostly whole foods and we're eating slowly, our bodies do an excellent job of letting us know when it's time to hit the brakes. And if you ever have eaten too stuffed, or maybe you do this repeatedly, this is another habit that was super hard for me to break. It actually doesn't feel very good. So once you start learning and learning how to do this and getting the hang of where your satisfied is, this will take you so far as habits go into maintaining your weight long term. Because no matter where you are, no matter what you're eating, no matter if you're eating a meal on an airplane that's prepackaged, or at a business dinner, or at grandma's Thanksgiving, you can practice this habit and not overdo it. Maybe on Thanksgiving you want to purposely overdo it. I don't know. I'm not one to judge. but most of the time you should be eating to just satisfied, not stuffed. And this is, of course, important because it helps us maintain our energy balance and maintain our weight long term. Finally, last habit, 20 minutes of de-stressing daily. Most of us are going through life way too stressed. And so here's the deal, right? Stress is good in certain scenarios, right? If you're in the woods and you're being chased by a bear, you want stress because it makes you run fast and get the hell out of there. When you take the bear home with you, and it rides in your car to work, and it goes to bed with you, that's a problem. So stress is only a problem if it's chronic. So if you are taking your bear home with you, trust me, you need this habit in your life. Something as simple as breathing exercises, doing yoga, doing meditation if that's your thing, going on a walk works for me. Something that brings your stress levels down is so key. And to follow up why this is key, I think I sort of hit on that. This is important because those cortisol levels that come along with chronic stress lead us to, one, again, increasing our appetite and holding on to body fat. So again, our hormones matter, and this is one way to keep our hormones in check and how they're supposed to be working instead of just being chronically elevated in ways that are not very friendly to our waistlines and to our health. All right, so that was your quick rundown on why each of those 10 habits is important. So let's go ahead and get into what I think is the most important part of this video, how to actually implement these into your life. So throwing 10 habits at you, giving you this information is all well and good, but this information is only as good as you can put action to it. So what I want you guys to do, this is the exact process that I use with my clients, right? We focus on one habit at a time. One. I know it's tempting to be like, oh, I'm going to do all 10 and totally try to overhaul your life. But I promise you, 99 times out of 100, you will fail going that route. Pick one at a time. You will be so much more successful. If you're not sure which one to pick because they all seem important, my rule of thumb is to pick whichever one seems easiest, right? Whichever one seems impossible to screw up is what you should go with. The reason for that is because your success in that habit will lead you to more success in your next habit, and it just sort of snowballs into itself. So pick your habit. If you have one if you want to share what you picked, please put it in the comments. For this example's sake, let's go with eating your 5 fist-sized servings of fruits and veggies. So that's a habit I'm going to pick. And what I want you to think about is how to make this habit fit into your current day-to-day life. So if I'm telling you, oh, you should eat 5 servings of fruits and veggies each day, that's great, but what if you're currently eating 0, right? 5 is a very large jump if you're currently having 0 fruits and veggies. So we need to shrink it so that it can actually be doable for you. And this is honestly maybe the second most important part. Picking one is the most important. Number 2 is shrinking it to fit what you can actually achieve right now. Forget about the should. I know I said you should be doing this. Forget about should. Think about what you can do right now today. So if 5 fruits and veggies is too much, if that's too much, let's shrink it down. Maybe we just do one fruit, an apple. That's super easy. I'm just gonna eat an apple every single day this week. And I like this because an apple is easy. There's not like cutting that has to happen. You can just wash it and eat it. It's really portable. You don't have to refrigerate it. You can just leave it on your countertop. Not a lot of thinking goes into that. All I have to do is buy the apple, wash it, and eat it. So that's exactly how I will shrink this habit to fit my life right now. Final piece of this, step 3, is a confidence check. So step 1, pick one habit. Step 2, shrink it so that it's basically impossible to screw up. Make it easy to be successful. And step 3, we're gonna check your confidence. So ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident am I that I can do this habit every single day? And number 10 is like, I am basically already doing that. That's too easy. And number 1 is, it ain't gonna happen. This is a real question I ask my clients all the time. So if we are at a 5, it's too hard. We have to shrink it more, right? Basically what I'm looking for is like a 9 or above. That is how easy I want you guys to make this habit. There is a time and a place to stretch yourself, but this is not it. So if your habit is, if you're not at a 9, a level 9 confidence that you can do this every single day, make it easier. So maybe I say, well, I'm at a 7 right now. So the follow-up to that is, okay, well, what would it take to get to a 9? Maybe, right? Maybe it's just a matter of putting the logistics in place ahead of time. So I need to eat my apple every day. I'm gonna go to the store right now, buy 7 apples for the next week, wash them, and pack them in my lunch. And that makes me feel confident that I can now achieve that habit because it's prepared and ready and really easy to screw up. I don't even have to think about it. Maybe that's still not enough. Maybe we shrink it even more. It's like, well, maybe that apple is a little too tough for doing this. Maybe having my apple at the same time every day, you know, some of these things are tough. So maybe we pair it with another habit and say, well, I always have dessert after dinner, so I'm going to swap that with my normal dessert. And I'm gonna have an apple with it or instead of my normal dessert. And so we pair that instead of just adding a new habit in, we make it easier by attaching it to something that you're already doing. So how to implement this in your own life? Again, pick one habit, that's step 1. Step 2, shrink it so that it fits into your life and where you're at right now. If you're not yet at eating 5 fruits and vegetables, don't start there. Start small. Make it easy to be successful. And do your confidence check. Figure out what it takes to get to a 9 out of 10 confidence to do this habit every single day. And that's it, right? Repeat that process. Practice your habit. This should be the only thing that you change for at least the next 2 weeks, right? With most of my clients, I say, you know what, we'll move on from this habit once we have it down about 85% of the time. The reason I like 85% of the time is that that's sort of the level where I see success with my clients, where they start seeing progress. And it sort of gives a little wiggle room for life's unpredictability. You know, nobody's perfect all the time. So if we have our standard at about 85%, if you do better than that, great. That's awesome. If you can't maintain your habit 85% of the time, you probably need to make it easier. So just really brief rundown on everything we covered. The 10 habits that I want you guys to take away from this are getting 20 minutes of daily movement, strength training at least twice a week. This doesn't have to be with weights in a gym. Think outside the box here, right? You can do strength training at home with just your body weights. Push-ups, right? That's a strength training move. Eat one palm-size serving of protein at each meal. Eat at least 5 fist-size servings of fruits and veggies each day. Eat mostly unprocessed whole food carbohydrates. Get at least 7 hours of sleep. Take a multivitamin and fish oil daily. Eat slowly. Eat to satisfy, not stuffed. And finally, habit number 10 is doing 20 minutes of a de-stressing activity every single day. If you can master these 10 habits, you will be well on your way to living a long, lean life, to holding on to your diet results, because nobody wants to go through the diet train multiple times. And remember, guys, make these fit your life. These habits are not rules in the same way that you may have followed rules in a diet. These are guidelines for living your own life. You can make them fit your day-to-day. You can make them fit however it works for you, right? They're not hard and fast rules. Take them as guidelines and then go from there. If you did not grab my content upgrade yet, please grab it from the link in the description. And I will be back next week, same time, same place. Thank you guys for tuning in today. If you have any comments, questions, drop them down below. But that's it for today, and thank you.